Let's do this. Hello, Rock Antenne community. I'm here today with Lzzy and Joe from Halestorm, right before their show in the rock city of Munich. Thank you guys so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having us. Hi, guys.
So your European tour is on now.
Yes.
So you started in Cologne. It's going to be Munich and Frankfurt, Offenbach.
Yeah, Offenbach and then
yeah.
Hamburg.
And Hamburg. Then off to like a couple of other European countries. Then Japan and Australia,
so and then Malaysia. Yeah, so we'll be out for a good 6 weeks total.
We're trucking. We're going to see how good our shows can be with 0 sleep over 2 weeks. It'll be fun. Should be
at some
trippy.
point it's not going to hurt anymore.
We'll just go on autopilot.
Yeah, it'll be good and weird. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have any like favorite places and all of that, or does it make a difference? Like, do you feel different in the countries, like audience-wise? Is it different vibes?
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the most beautiful things about touring. Why I love it so much, because from night to night, it's completely different, and you know, there's a different language, there's a different culture. But something that I've noticed is that rock and roll is a universal language, and so it doesn't matter where we play or how big the crowd is, or we're all able to just be the same at the rock show, and I think it's just a beautiful exercise in community, you know. But yeah, we have a lot of favorite places. Vienna, Austria is beautiful.
I like Germany, you know.
We love being here.
We went out last night and had some liters.
Yes.
Of tasty beers and pretzels and
I was having half
brats.
liters.
Good for
half
you.
liters.
You're drinking double the amount, though.
True. But a half liter at a time.
And it doesn't get warm that quite fast.
That's true. See?
Yeah.
See?
You just got to drink it fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that discussion. So everyone knows that you're a great live band, but what can we look forward to on this tour? What can we expect? What are you gonna do?
Well, with us, we are primarily, we love playing live. That's 90% of what we do and what we love. But we don't use any tracks. We don't use a click track. We don't no trickery behind us, and we end up doing a lot of improv.
Yeah, and we switch the setup every night. So
and a different set every night.
You can come to a few shows and get a bunch of different songs, and we just played one in soundcheck today that we haven't played in a few years. We're like, how does that go again? I don't know. We'll see if it makes it into the set list, but it's fun, you know. It keeps us on our toes, and it's just a rock show. It's fun. Yeah. It's supposed to be fun.
And we have people that are coming to multiple shows in a row, so every night is a different set list in a different order and different intros, outros, and then we'll discuss beforehand where we're going to throw in just some jamming. And when we enter into the jamming, we don't always know how we're going to end it. So, you know, everybody's on the same page. Like, the audience doesn't know, we don't know, and so we just have to listen to each other and try to make a moment that's unique for that show. So yeah,
I guess that keeps the energy up, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's nerve-wracking because it could either be magical or it could be a complete train wreck. But that's up to us.
Fun.
It is fun. It is
living
fun.
and breathing music. You don't know where you're going to land. It's great. Just jump.
It's a beautiful panic.
That's a nice expression too. Well, also your lineup was pretty great on this tour. I mean, with New Year's Day and In This Moment, you have 3 great bands, 3 great female singers.
It's amazing.
Hell yeah.
How did that idea come together? Did you think like, well, let's do a tour and kick some male ass?
Pretty much. Ash Costello and Maria Brink and I have all been friends for like a decade, like years. And we've never actually all been on tour together. So we decided at one point, we're like, you know what? Screw it. We should just all be on the same tour, do our shows. And we didn't, so it was kind of selfish. We wanted to do it so that we could hang out, you know, because we're always, you know, all of us are always on tour. But then we didn't realize how truly important it has become. And so we've done this tour a couple times in the States. This is our first time in Europe and UK doing the same thing. And it's just such a beautiful thing because we can look out in the audience and there are all these girls that just own rock music. So what we're seeing is that rock music and hard rock music and metal is absolutely genderless. we're not girls playing boys' music. We're playing our music, and it's such a beautiful thing to look at these girls, and they're like, yes, this is me, and we're just like you, and you're just like us, and it's neat to encourage these young girls too, because I know what it was like to be in the audience and be like, could I ever do that? And so we're kind of living proof that yes, absolutely, we each have our own empire, and don't ever let anybody tell you what you can't do, because we're living proof that you can. So it's become such a fulfilling thing for all three of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's important times to do stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And stand your ground.
Our boys have always been such amazing allies in that whole fight, and it's funny. I remember like when we first met, I asked him. I said, "Are you going to have a problem, with a girl being, fronting your rock band?" And he's like, "Wait, you're a girl?" Like it was just kind of a funny thing where it's like,
it doesn't matter as long as you're making good moments. Nothing else matters,
Yeah,
good music and good moments in the music, and it doesn't matter who's doing it.
It's true.
Absolutely not, but not everybody would agree, I'm afraid.
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah, definitely.
That, they're shutting out a bunch of joy they could be having. Bummer for them.
I know. It must suck to be them.
Yeah.
Never mind, that's never a good idea.
Yeah, it's true.
Does that also like inspire your songs in some kind of way, like things you experience, obviously, but?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and even existing songs, you're up there on stage and you're starting to listen to your own lyrics differently, and it becomes such a. I guess there's a level of importance that happens when you're up on stage and you see this kind of movement happening around you, and you're just a small part of it. But yeah, absolutely. And so the inspiration kind of comes full circle, because as I'm writing, my new songs, I'm going out there every night thinking, okay, would that new song, if I had to play it tonight in front of this audience, would that move them in some way? And so yeah, it's a beautiful thing to start thinking about, because yeah, like when I write music, there's always, it starts with it's my truth, and that's the core of it. But once you write the song and you record it and you're playing it on stage, it's no longer yours. It's theirs, and it's something that we get to share together. And so. So yeah, I think the inspiration comes full circle.
That's beautiful. That's very good. Talking inspiration, our station, we are just establishing an own Hall of Fame at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Where our listeners can like vote for the people they want to have inducted. What would your picks be? Who would you think needs to go into like a Hall of Fame besides yourself?
Besides, Lzzy, I'm kidding. Let's see. Honestly, we were just talking about Muse.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They're an amazing band.
Yeah, they're so good, and they've gotten so big. But really, if it's like a Hall of Fame thing,
that's true.
You go back to like the foundation of where this all has come from, right? Black Sabbath and the Beatles and the Stones, and the obvious ones. Really, you start there, and then you can work your way up to Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and. I would vote Black Sabbath just to start.
Haven't they already been?
Well, it depends on what the Hall of Fame,
It's
for this specific.
New. Exactly. We're starting from scratch.
That's true. Okay, we're starting from scratch. Perfect. Okay. So Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper. These are all my influences. Ann Wilson from Heart. Beautiful person. All the Hearts. Or I should just say Heart Sisters. Let's see, Jeff Buckley.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah. There's a bunch.
Who else? Yeah. Miss Pat Benatar.
Yeah.
And Oh, and then you know what? Let's throw in another girl. Let's throw in some Joan Jett too.
Yes.
Joni.
Of course.
Well, that was just my next question, actually. Like, who brought you to rock music? Who were your personal idols? Like you said, Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath.
Yeah. I was listening to a lot of 70s and 80s while growing up in the 90s. So you can imagine how that went over with all of my female friends. They, I mean, even like before then. So I remember when I was 11, I brought an Alice Cooper CD, Love It to Death, and Ronnie James Dio's Holy Diver to a slumber party. You can imagine how that went down. I literally, you know, they were like, oh, no, Lzzy, like, let's bring some of your CDs, whatever. So I brought it. They looked at me like I was from outer space, and that was the day I found out I was not cool, and I was not like the other girls. But as far as female-fronted, the first woman singer that I ever heard was Ann Wilson, and it was a CD that my mom got for me. It was a live CD from the 90s called The Road Home, and she does such a beautiful version of Crazy on You, like starts out kind of a cappella, and you can really hear, and it was such an important thing for me because up until then I was trying to imitate guys when I'm singing, and I'm trying to imitate Dio or whatever, and when I heard Ann Wilson sing the way that she does, I was like, wow, girls can sing that way too, and it something clicked for me, whereas I was like, oh, well, I'm already a girl, so I got that down, you know? This is totally possible. You just see these women, you know, it's important for girls to recognize with other girls because it just makes that path a little less long, and it makes the, you know, it's like, oh, somebody made it through, so it's possible, you know, if you work hard enough. So, yeah, I'm very grateful to the ones that came before. What were your influences?
Oh, you know, you're not interviewing me. This is not your interview.
Okay. I'm trying to help.
Okay. Well, I have a question for you. Do you remember your first record ever?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's like the first record that you ever got because you got one, or the first one that you actually cared about.
Both. Your first and your real first.
My real first was a cassette tape, and it was C&C Music Factory. As a little kid, remember them? Everybody dance now.
It's not bad. Not bad. It's a classic.
And then my first record I cared about was probably Smells Like Teen Spirit. Something 90s. That's what got me into the rock and roll. One of those bands that was blown up in 94.
Good. First record done. What's your first concert ever been?
What was your first concert, Lzzy?
Technically, the first concert that I attended was Cheap Trick when I was very little, and I don't remember any of it really. But the first concert that I actually bought tickets to and went to was Tool during their Lateralist tour, and I took a date because I got 2 tickets, and instead of taking my little brother, I took a date instead, and he fell asleep. At a Tool concert. So we didn't date after that. That was the...
No more.
No more. That was the test and you failed. But it's funny because my brother always teases me because he would have loved to come because he's a huge Tool fan too. And he's like, yeah, big sis, you didn't take your little brother, but you took that guy that fell asleep. And I'm like, so he teases me a lot about that. But yeah.
Mine was, the first show that I bought tickets to was some 90s goodness. It was the Verve Pipe, Tonic, Case Choice, the TLA in Philly. It was great. I was blown away. I was like, how does this all work? It's still magic. Like, there's the board in the back, and I was like, what does that do? Yeah.
Awesome. Do you still, I guess so, but do you still like to go to other bands' concerts?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
We just saw, last one we saw was Elton John in Nashville. Which was amazing. One of the best shows ever.
Nice.
But we go out to, that's the beautiful thing about living in Nashville is that there's always a lot of our friends that are always playing around town, or there's always something going on. So it helps with the time off because I don't know how to live a normal life. So when we have time off, you kind of get bummed for no reason because you're not getting that live show feeling, you know? So we'll go out and we'll see our friends play, and you can physically feel the cloud being lifted. You're like, oh, I feel so much better being at the rock show, you know? And when I go to a rock or metal show, I'm like a one-woman mosh pit because nobody wants to mosh with me, but I'm just like, we're just gonna headbang, and yeah. So I have a lot of fun.
Nice. So you're gonna have Christmas, like New Year's break from touring, right?
Yes.
So you're gonna be home. How do you spend Christmas? Do you have any traditions or?
We don't really have any traditions, only because it depends on the year. Sometimes we can get together with family, and sometimes we can't, and sometimes we're out doing something, and so it's all very like we have to decide every year what are we doing? Where are we going? You know, but this year I'm having my mom and my brother and his new girl, and we're just gonna have a good old fashioned, you know, we're gonna cook things and cook and eat and drink and decorate the tree, do like super normal stuff. So
that's not really any traditions. You know, I see my family every other year or so, go hang out with them, and have little nieces that are awesome, and
it's always good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's nothing. We just get together, stay up late, playing games and drinking. It's fun.
Cool. Just some quiet time then.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And well, now let's talk about the future, and then we're done.
Awesome.
No, I mean, your last album, Vicious, has been out like almost 1.5 years now.
Mm-hmm. Jesus, it's been that long.
I realized that. I was like, okay, because it was our album of the week, and I looked up the page, and I was like, oh, 2018.
Oh, thank you. I know.
It's crazy.
Wasn't that this year? No, it wasn't.
I know.
Well, now we're gonna get to expect new stuff then, because you've been touring all the time. Do you have time?
After this tour, we're pretty much done on this album cycle, except for a couple things.
Yeah, we got all kinds of fun things coming though. Like the 10th anniversary edition of the first album comes out December 20th or something.
Yeah,
I forget, one of those days. That's really cool. It's got the original record, and then there's another record full of basement demos and other demos that we made leading up to it that no one's ever heard before, which are a trip. And then we just got out of the studio and made something really neat that we're not talking about yet. That'll come out sooner than later. And then there's going to be all kinds of Lzzy appearances.
Yes, I've been doing a lot of duets and a lot of other things, and a lot of really cool collaborations that I didn't think that, you know, if it's one of those moments where you're like, if my 13-year-old self could see me now, it would blow her little mind, you know. And
that whole time, then we're going to be writing a new record too. So I don't know.
Yeah,
there's going to be plenty of stuff coming.
Yeah, you're going to be sick of us.
Oh no, never. Don't forget the Christmas album.
Yes,
oh, yes, don't forget.
2021.
Yeah,
latest.
Yes, latest, and yeah, that'd be funny. We'll end up writing a Christmas album in the summer.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be cool. Yep. I mean, you have already one song. You can put the Mistress for
That's
Christmas.
That's true. We can
just
slap that on there.
I like it better than the original. Yeah, I do. I won't tell anybody. Okay, good. Well, I have no more questions. That was great. Do you want to add anything?
Oh, honestly, just a huge thank you to everybody who has been buying the tickets and taking the time out of their day to listen to the music and request it on the radio. And just thank you for allowing us to do what we love every day.
This is our biggest German headline tour yet, and it's awesome. It's still growing, and thanks to everybody for making that happen.
Yeah, and thanks to you guys for taking the time to talk with us.
Anytime. And next time you'll have bigger venues and you'll still sell out.
Oh, thank you.
I've been following that.
Thank you.
It's looking good.
It is looking good.
Yeah.